In this video, I'll share my secret to instantly focus on wherever you want. No matter if you're on a computer, on the phone, being constantly interrupted, walking, stressed out, or just afraid to do the thing you know you should do. All the definitions of focus are many. I think there are two things that explain focus. First, selection. If you focus on something like, for instance, a dream, a person, a target, you choose this one above all else. It is your highest priority and you say no to everything else. A focused person is the one who always commits to his or her intention and is not swayed by shiny objects. Second, attention. If you focus on a cognitively demanding task like writing an essay, your level of concentration determines how effective you are. So in order to achieve instant focus, we need to choose and we need to pay attention. And how do we do that? There are three insights I found that led me to step out from this tiny hall, isolated from anyone, and instead being in all kinds of places doing highly focused work. And once you get these ones, I believe it could be game changer for you. It certainly was for me. The first one is that attention is the same as both acceptance and awareness. Let me explain. Let's say that you're an average 24-year-old man and I give you two options to look at. The first one is a garbage can. The other one is the most beautiful girl you've ever seen. Who will you pay more attention to? Obvious, right? You do not need to decide. It happened automatically. And from a biological standpoint, you like the second option so much so you spend all your attention without worrying about focus. The same goes if you're comparing something we not like to do, like taxes, or doing something you really like. For instance, come up with interesting ideas. You will pay way more attention to the thing you like. So whether you like something or even like the pursuit of doing something, you will naturally pay attention to it. You also get the necessary energy since epinephrine in the brain is literally manufactured from dopamine, the molecule that craves for more of what you like. This is why many people can work hundreds of hours each week without burning out because they love the process so much. And in terms of awareness, compare yourself in a snowstorm versus a very beautiful sunny day, or even such a very nice autumn day as here in Gdynia Beach. In the first example, you do not want to be there at all, so you try to escape from it, whether like in your own thoughts or like literally escaping from it. But in the other sunny place, you want to be there fully with all your senses. This escaping or this escaping urge of your particular situation is the thing that lowers your awareness of what's going on there because you want to escape from it. You do not want to pay attention to it. You want to pay attention to something else instead. And if you find yourself doing like these bad habits, you might want to acknowledge this tension, this urge is just coming in. Because otherwise you wouldn't have such an urge to just escape from it. But if it's a very pleasant situation, like for instance, traveling to a nice place, having a good meal, meeting a person you really like, getting an award, having sex, whatever, you're not escaping from it, you're fully here at this moment. And in this state of total presence, you're fully conscious and aware. So that was the first insight, that if you very much like something, you will not escape from it, but otherwise you will raise your attention and ultimately awareness and acceptance. The second insight was that the more thoughts you have, the less focused you are. In this beautiful paper from Science, the authors tracked many different people on moments they were happy versus unhappy. The most interesting correlation it had was that when they were fully engaged, fully present whenever they were doing, they were the happiest. But the more they found themselves lost in thoughts, whether it was rumination or daydreaming, they were more and more unhappy. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Remember we talked about earlier that you pay naturally more attention to the ones that you enjoy. And if you pay more attention to thoughts instead of your surroundings, whether positive or negative thoughts, it means that your surroundings is somewhat less important, that you want to sort of get away from it, and thus became more unhappy as a result. But how do you actually think less, especially when you have like hundreds of commitments in your work and with other people? Aside from prioritizing like where you are, what you hear, what you see, what you feel, write recurring thoughts down. The greatest benefit from the most widespread productivity community in the world getting things done is a mind-like water state of appropriate engagement when you've written, clarified and organized all your thoughts. So whenever you're lost in thought, you might want to take it as a signal to write down what you just thought. Whether it's like a constant dialogue going on, you might just transcribe it so you can see it right away. And this will be key for the focus practice later in this video. Here's the cool part. It might sound controversial, but consider the fact that even the classics, like for instance in Stoicism, knew all about this all along. I don't think it's that controversial actually. Let's go back to the filling taxes example, which for many people might be a very tedious task but has to get done. And obviously you cannot run away from it, you have to do it at some point. So you might as well like it. When you see that task as a challenge to improve, it will be much easier to get into the zone and fill in those forms. But if you have the power to not do a particular thing, then just stop. These are the two options. Either you like it or you do not do it at all. But then we have these very important moments in our life which represent some kind of bigger risk. Maybe you're writing your very first article, or making your very first YouTube video, or publishing your first ever book. All these first ever feelings are literally the scariest moments. Regardless of how you feel, you can still like it. Think of the muscle burn which you are sort of looking after whenever you're going to the gym, because you know that you're going to be stronger, especially in those muscle groups. So in other words, you're seeking out the discomfort, seeking out the confusion, seeking out the fear, because you know that you will easily benefit from it. And as a matter of fact, in order to learn, you have to have this kind of friction in the brain in order to open up this neuroplasticity. So whenever you decide to love this feeling of discomfort, you're in a very powerful place, because nothing can stop you. So how do you actually focus wherever you are? Love what is happening right now. Especially when in a noisy environment like turbulent bus rides and screaming children or other non-ideal scenarios. Just embrace what is at that moment. You want to be fully engaged outside of yourself, like looking, listening and feeling what you do. So therefore it's important to keep every thought you have from your mind. This constant offloading will help you when you interrupt, because all your work in progress and all the ideas will just be out there. So you can just quickly go back there, because you don't need to load anything up here. It's all out there and you can just make progress on where you were. Like a good status summary, for instance. And this reassurance that nothing that you do will ever be wasted, and you can get back into the progress wherever you want and whenever you want, will further motivate you to do the things that you like and find meaningful. Other than that, you can listen to music you particularly enjoy. I listen to this playlist every day for over a year now, and it's been my go-to whenever I want to write scripts. But of course you don't need it, but when you can, it's always helpful. So as long as you choose to love what is happening at this moment and make the most of your opportunities right now, and write down your thoughts, whether positive or negative thoughts, you don't need to worry about focus ever again.